Hello, welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind a lot lately, something that I've been feeling personally, and something I wanted to get out into the world because I think it's very important to talk about. Imagine how many girls have felt uncomfortable in their female bodies before growing into them and becoming strong, confident women who are happy with themselves. This is how it used to be before dysphoria was medicalized, before women were told they could become men. Medical professionals attributed my dysphoria to an innate identity. The internet encouraged this. My parents didn't know how to respond, assuming that therapists and doctors would know better than to let a 16-year-old make the wrong, life-altering decisions. If I had known that there are strong, happy, well-adjusted women out there who once believed they should have been men or were once uncomfortable in their female bodies, I would have understood that it's not a black and white way of thinking. It's not trans or cis. So in response to this, somebody quoted my tweet and said, to any women out there, how did you feel about your body when you were 14? Were you comfortable in it? Why are we encouraging teen girls to believe their bodies are wrong? I wanted to read some of the replies to this because I think that this is an incredibly important conversation to have, because I had no idea, honestly, that feeling uncomfortable with being female, feeling uncomfortable with growing up into a woman was something that is very common, and it doesn't mean that you are trans. It doesn't mean that you need to change yourself or transition. Being uncomfortable with becoming an adult woman is so common, it's actually insane. I had no idea, and so reading some of the replies to this thread, I felt the need to share. 14 years old to me is getting my bra strap pinged by boys sitting behind me in class, feeling extremely uncomfortable, only confirmed by attention from fully grown men. Horrible times. I relate to that. I got my bra strap snapped in middle school by the boys in my class. It was so weird. I was probably 13 or 14 at that point. It was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. I remember one time that happened to me, and then I chased him around the room, and I was like trying to punch him because I was so upset by that and uncomfortable, but nobody said anything to me. Nobody told me that was wrong. I didn't realize that was something that I would have to deal with, and like the fact that people don't talk about this. I never thought about it until I got unwelcome attention from older boys and men. It felt really uncomfortable and I was embarrassed. And this is something I think that we have to talk about as well, is there is a focus on women's bodies just in the media and everywhere in society. Women are supposed to be very, very hyper aware of their bodies and the way that other people feel about their bodies. I remember like the first time that I realized that I was growing body hair when I was probably 11 was because my mom pointed it out to me and told me that I needed to shave. I remember that's how it felt. She probably said like, oh, like most women shave, but I remember feeling like this is something wrong with me. Starting from a young age, expectations like you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way. Somebody else said, I was chubby and I hated my body. I particularly hated my breasts and I wanted a flat chest just like the guys. I wanted to be a guy. Then I discovered my lesbianism and that helped some. Women have been feeling like this since the beginning of time, I feel like. I feel like teenage girls, especially like in this generation, are being told that they can opt out of this, of all of this. Womanhood, of expectations of society, looking a certain way. You can just opt out by changing the way that you identify. There are so many young teen girls right now who are identifying as men because of this. So many young women who don't want attention from men, who don't want to deal with growing into an adult woman because of everything that you're told that means. You can just say, no, I'm not a woman, I'm a guy. But instead, we should be encouraging young teen girls to say, I am a woman and I don't have to do any of that. I am a woman and fuck you. Somebody says, very uncomfortable in my own skin, hated my periods, wanted to be a boy because they didn't have to go through that every month. Very happy to be a woman now. Hating your period is such a universal female experience that is not talked about. And especially having painful periods every month or even more than that is like so taboo to talk about that people just don't. And we don't hear about all the women who have to struggle every month or every couple weeks to go through a period that is awful. And I feel like having awful, painful periods is something that leads young women to travel down the trans path to becoming a man. The reason why I wanted to take testosterone, one of the biggest, was to stop my periods and not have to worry about that anymore. I had awful periods that put me in pain every month. Actually, every 3 weeks, because I got mine like on the low end. It was and they were so painful and so awful that I was like, I can just take something that will stop these forever. Like, sign me up. That is a real big deal. Okay, somebody else said, I do not know one woman who did not hate puberty. I felt self-revulsion, shame, and humiliation that my body had turned traitor and placed me in the inferior half of the population who were routinely viewed as sexual objects and unable to walk down the street without comment. And that just sums it up right there. Like, that's it. That is exactly how I felt. Like, you cannot exist as a woman or as a girl without people commenting on your existence. But I really want to make this a positive video because the way that I feel about being a woman now is so different than how I felt when I was 15. Right now, I am so happy with myself. I am proud to be a woman. I am absolutely so glad that I was born the way that I was born and that I've gone through everything that I've gone through to get to this point because I get to be a woman. I was 19 years old when I realized that my discomfort with being seen as a woman was a societal problem, not a personal one. And I decided to stop trying to change myself. Once I let go of all the expectations of womanhood that I had ingrained, I felt free to be myself. The moment that you realize as a girl that you don't have to do anything to be a woman just takes the weight off your shoulders. Let go of what society wants you to do. Let go of what your parents ingrained into you. You can be and do whatever you want. I want to talk to the fucking teenage girls right now. Hey, if you're a teenage girl, if you think you're trans, if you think that you're a girl, if you're comfortable, whatever, whoever you are, if you're a female teenager watching this, you can grow up and you can do whatever you want. Being a woman is not a punishment. Being a woman is a gift. Okay, here's the biggest thing that I would want someone to tell me and that I would want to hear as a 15 or 16-year-old if I could go back. I would say, you don't have to change anything about the way that your body is, about the way that you present yourself to the world to be comfortable. You don't have to change anything about yourself to move more comfortably through the world. All you have to do is realize that whatever anyone else expects from you is wrong. If I could go back and never take testosterone, I would. Because I am so comfortable with myself now, my body, the way that it is. I didn't have to change anything about myself. All I had to do was get older and grow. And I think that's such an important thing for any teenager to remember. Just to let yourself get older and grow, and don't hyper focus on the way that your body is. Think about what you can do with it. Think about what you can do as a human being. You can do anything. And I try to tell myself that too, because I've been realizing that. Okay, now that I look like a punk rocker, I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and click that bell notification if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. I don't do that.